Happy Thursday, and welcome to what we'll call the eve before the rest of Doc's life. Right, Thursday, we're here. What a cryptic beginning, Johnny. But we're back, Debate Amongst Friends, right here. It's Thursday. You're hearing this at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Doc Leesner, the podcasting beast, alongside the man with a lot of nicknames, J.A. Gotti. Yes, the cleaner.
Best podcasting machine, least hype machine, but always tranquilo Doc. El Idolo, freshly squeezed.
Fresh.
Only want positive vibes as he sets the sun today as tomorrow begins anew. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Looking forward to the future reads of life. The future. Oh boy, the future reads of life. You're so terrible. You've been trying to have me break character all week, and today you have succeeded. Ladies and gentlemen, J.A. has become. I want to say he's a mime in training. He's a podcasting monster and a mime in training. You're killing it, by the way. I mean, you're really nailing that move. I want you to know it looks great. But sporting news, not a whole lot yesterday, but we do have some people pushing back on their teams. Looking at NFL news first here, we talked about Jamal Adams yesterday in the Seahawks. Looks like they're in a staring competition. It looks as though they've begun negotiations on Friday. They made their quote-unquote final offer for Jamal Adams, which would be around $17 million per year on a 4-year deal, $38 million guaranteed. Which would make him the highest paid safety. Personally, I don't think he should be the highest paid safety, but that's just my opinion. Maybe because he played for the Jets and I didn't see him really do a lot for the Jets to make him deserve that, but I guess we're going based on potential alone.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. It's going to be based off potential. Then my other question is, since you mentioned you don't think he is the best safety in football, who? Because the people want to know because they're in my ear. According to Doc, is the best safety in football right now?
I would say it's a toss-up. I love what certain people bring. Obviously, Harrison Smith of the Vikings comes to mind. Derwin James, if he could stay healthy, comes to mind. Minkah Fitzpatrick comes to mind. Like a lot of these people come to mind. Even Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, comes to mind before him. Tyrann, Lord Tyrion, it doesn't matter. You know what I was talking about. But yeah, I just feel like there are some better safeties than him for him to be considered the best. And I'm just not 100% sold. Even PFF has him ranked at number 10. So it's just one of those things where, yes, I think he's a great safety, and yes, I understand this is a great opportunity for the Seahawks to kind of set the market on safeties, but I don't think he's the top safety.
Well,
and obviously they don't either.
To add some transparency to things, Chris decided to send me a quick little list, and we'll get going on because you know how we are.
Of course, yeah.
Break them down and completely dissect
that's fine.
it. But Pro Football Focus may or may not be a reliable source.
Sure. But they go all based off but they go based off facts. I will say that they go based off the grades and the facts. I will say that
for the most part, yes.
For the most part.
So Harrison Smith on this list is the number 2 safety heading into the 2021-22 season.
Exactly.
Number 1, coming from the Denver Broncos, Justin Simmons is the best safety heading into the 2021-22 season.
And obviously, Chris sent me this list prior to me making my bold claim that he wasn't number 1 because I wanted to make sure I didn't sound like an idiot, of course. But I mean, I skipped over Justin Simmons because I think the Broncos last season and the season before, they've been really struggling. So it's hard for me to judge them based on what they did the last year. And again, that could be why Jamal Adams, in my opinion, is lower because number 1, he came from the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I picked him once in fantasy football. That's another thing. And he might have burned me.
And it also didn't help out for the Broncos that their offense was absolutely abysmal.
So they were on the field a lot.
Exactly.
So,
but on this list, they do have Jamal Adams as number 10.
Number 10. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly where I just had him at. Yep.
So there's 9 safeties that is better than him.
Per BFF. Which,
again, of course, none of them are from Doc's Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Doesn't make me feel any worse or any better.
They're
I'm completely fine with
21, Mr. Antoine Winfield Jr.
Who's a rookie. And you think about it, our safeties, I would say, and then we'll move on, but our safeties, I would never expect to be on this list only because we rotate all 4 of them in and out of the game, the whole game. So none of them ever just play. Like Jamal Adams, like the top 10 guys, they play most of the snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Our guys, we don't play that. So the fact that Antoine Winfield made it on the list and is in the top 25, and he didn't play a full game ever, probably.
Yep.
That's pretty big.
It is pretty big.
But some other notable players are holding out for new contracts along with Jamal Adams. We have T.J. Watt and we have Duane Brown. T.J. Watt of the Steelers, obviously, and Duane Brown of the Browns. I mean, obviously, T.J. is going to command.
Yeah, he holds the reins.
Yeah.
Of this big conversation.
Reins. Yeah, he's pretty much the Santa Claus of this one. He holds the reins. I was going with the reins. I was trying to come up with some clever.
I was like, I don't know. That was the best I could come up with. Live TV.
I was the best thing I could come up with. We're live. But yeah, TJ Watt definitely holds all of the chips. We'll go with that. He holds the chips. And then Duane Brown, obviously, who struggled over and I said Duane Brown of the Browns. I meant Duane Brown of the Seahawks. But Duane Brown has struggled over his career, and obviously he's still, I would say, top 15 tackles in the league. But I'm not 100% sure if, number one, the Seahawks can even afford to extend Brown at this point, because I know that they spent some money this year, and obviously they're going to spend some money with Jamal Adams. And I wonder, if they can't make a deal with Jamal Adams, do they trade him and then focus on Brown?
Yes.
Paying $17 million for a safety, I kind of like what the Steelers and what the Patriots often do. They typically don't overpay for certain positions. And I think the Patriots got away with that for a long time. And that's why I think now with their high price corner that they have, right, they're sitting there like, do we really want to continue to pay this guy this much money, even though he's really good, when we believe in our coaching abilities and our ability to evaluate talent? Yes. And if I'm the Seahawks, I'm like, we can find a safety that will give us number 10 efficiency.
Wow.
Right? for less than probably $12 million. So that would be my take on it. If we're going to extend them, because think about it, if we're getting 10 to 20 efficiency, then we could just not even bother to do this. Like I said, if he was top 5, dead or alive, and yes, it's off 1 LP, then sure, we would be fine. But right now, I'm not seeing it. And as far as Duane Brown goes, I mean, he's 35 years old, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, at this point, it's like you're not gonna get much money. You're gonna get, that bet, that bet money, later on in your career money. So, I mean, I wish him the best of luck, but at 35, you're still a solid player. But at this point in his career, he's starting to become a little more expendable and could wind up becoming a cap casualty to sign the safety.
Yep.
If we're being honest. But in other NFL news, one in which I wanted to get your opinion on, actually, before we get there, 49ers signed safety HaHa Clinton-Dix. When he is on, he's a solid safety.
Yes. He played for the Cowboys last season, but then was cut.
Right. And if you think about it, like when he played for the Packers, he was a solid player.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if I'm the Seahawks, probably would have brought him in. You know what I mean? On a young, he's a young guy still. I think that's it's a sign that you could just bring him in for depth. And if you can't have anything done with Jamal Adams, then you move on.
Yes. And he's going into his 8th season, so it's not like he's completely young. Like he's been, around the block a few times already. So he's a pretty good solid get for that San Francisco secondary.
So this is the other thing I want to talk about, and I don't know if you read or heard about this, and I don't know if this is just them blowing smoke up Doc's butt, right?
Sounds like Napa to me.
Exactly. We'll call it Napple Valley.
Napple Valley. Put that on the t-shirt, Chris. Thank you.
Put it on a t-shirt. Thanks. Urban Meyer says it's still an open competition at quarterback.
Sorry, folks. My allergies is kicking up again. It's supposed to just be in the spring, but
yeah, come on.
I'm definitely allergic to BS.
I was about to say, I feel like coming is like tickling your nose. Is it tickling your nose?
It's like tickling my nose.
Yeah.
It's like in the back of my throat. Like it's just trying
to
consume itself.
Man. But Gardner Minshew, there was a post maybe 2-3 weeks ago that said, I'm so focused on number 1 that I don't even go to the bathroom to take number 2s.
First of all, that's way too much information. Secondly, if you're not trying to be the starting QB for a professional football club, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah.
Period. So going back to what Urban said, here's what I'm going to say. They already know who's going to start week 1.
Right.
Either
unless something crazy
to
happens.
Bring Trevor Lawrence out there, or they're going to have him sit behind Gardner Minshew for a few games.
Right, which puts a lot of pressure on Minshew.
There is no competition, folks. All this is trying to generate clicks. And you know what, Urban? You did a heck of a job. Cheers to you. But I know, and Doc knows, and you out there, you all know too, competition is nothing more than a red herring.
I agree. And now listen to what Myra said on Minshew. He said, he's earned my respect. Hey, I love that guy. He's a warrior, competitor. He's a fighter. You know what? I told him that. I just got a great respect for Minshew and what he brings in every single day.
Doc, I just made me some toast and I'm just laying down some butter.
Just buttering the bread.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's buttering him. Are you kidding me? In fact, like if you want to take it like 3,000 galaxy IQs from this as well too, he's also trying to drive up Minshew's stock for potential
He's doing a great job
too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't say I don't blame him.
Here's the thing. For these type of comments during the off season, around training camp for them, it's all about what's underneath. Don't take what they say for gospel.
Of course.
There's always an underlying motive behind what they're saying. Doc, you taught me this.
Without question. Without question. And like I said, I wanted to get your take because I knew it was butter when I saw it. I was like, nah, he's joking, right? Like unless Gardner Minshew is just like, I mean, it would have to be something amazing. Because you think about it, the Jaguars have been through this before, right? They had a young guy on the bench, they had a veteran playing, and then they left the veteran in, and then the next year they turned it over to a young guy, and then it just kind of fell apart. So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, the answer is easy. You just start Lawrence. You drafted him number 1 overall. He's the person to go and build your franchise around. And that's pretty much all there is to it. There's nothing left but to say, yes, he's the number 1 overall pick. He's the starter. But then again,
you want me to tell you what I first came up with when I first thought about this, and we'll continue on. So if you ever watched the 1989 movie of Batman, and Joker was looking at one of his head henchmen, and he was like, "You're my number 1 guy."
Wow.
That's exactly what this feels like. You know what's going to come.
Right.
You know what's going to happen. Yes, I am saying Gardner Minshew is Bob, folks. And if you haven't watched that movie, first of all, why? Go watch it. It's amazing.
So this is the last thing that I'll say, and then we can definitely move on, and that's that obviously number 1, Trevor Lawrence obviously went number 1. We know that. Zach Wilson at number 2 for the Jets, clearly no brainer. San Francisco, I really haven't heard anything. Mum's the word, right? Trey Lance.
They spoke a little bit, but it hasn't been like to this level because, of course, got the number 1 pick and he's a QB.
Right. I feel like I hear more about Justin Fields and Mac Jones than I do any other quarterback, in my opinion.
I mean that's Justin Fields in Chicago.
Right. I mean, Chicago still has Nick Foles. People love Nick Foles.
I can't say his nickname on the stream, but you know what I was going to say.
I'm going to just close this article. I'm just going to close.
Let's move on.
In NBA news, Udonis Haslam returning to the Heat at 41, being the oldest player in franchise history. 1-year deal worth $2.5 million. I'm actually surprised that. Not surprised that he went back, but surprised at the amount. I mean, $2.6 million, unless this has some type of salary cap, inclination, I guess. Like you have to spend. I know they have to spend a certain amount of money by a certain time, but I feel like the Heat spent a whole lot of money. Them boys spent a whole lot of cash signing trades and.
I mean, this is a huge discount for them. This is a huge discount for him.
I don't know. I feel like they overpaid. I mean, we're talking
this is also too. This is a contract of being consistent and being loyal to the brand for so long as well too. So
let me have Chris check something really quickly. I want to know what the NBA assistant coach salary is, because maybe, just maybe, they're paying him because he doesn't really he doesn't play a lot, right?
Nope.
He's on the bench, at the bottom of the bench. Obviously, he doesn't have a suit on. He actually, he has a warm up on like everybody else. What if he's just an extension of the coaching staff? I mean, I don't know if 2.8 million is a lot for a coach and assistant coach. I have no idea how much.
I think they actually make less than 2 mil.
Okay, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, maybe, just maybe, they're just paying him as a overpriced assistant coach. That's what I'm thinking, because the head coaches get a lot of money, but the assistants, I was curious, but it looks like the highest paid assistant coach. Let's see here. Let's look here. Chris just gave it to me here. The highest paid assistant coach usually gets somewhere between, I guess, a little bit over 100,000.
Yep.
But yeah, a little over 100,000.
I think it's between like 100,000 and 1 mil.
Right.
I think it depends on experience at that point.
So yeah, I guess I don't know. At this point, I probably would just bring him in as an assistant coach. I mean, if he's going to be around, I mean, he knows obviously Eric Spoelstra for 90,000 years at this point. He knows the Heat. He knows Pat Riley. He'll probably be he probably really the GM, and we don't even know it. But let's go to our last story here. I mentioned it right before we jumped on. J.R. Smith going back to college, and he intends to play golf. Johnny. So J.R. Smith, one of the last members of our high school to NBA, correct? Is that correct? I believe he didn't go to college. I believe he's one of the, I don't want to say he's one of the last, but I believe that he, in that particular, I guess, time frame, he was one of the last people to go straight to the NBA from high school. Is going back to North Carolina A&T. Shout out to North Carolina, the great state. That means I can go high five JR right now. But going to, so I wonder how that works. Like he can play golf, obviously, for the men's team. I'm curious. Obviously, he can't go play basketball.
No.
Obviously, people. I mean, I hope nobody would think, why doesn't he go play basketball? Clearly, he can't play basketball.
Cannot play basketball. No. It's not that he can't play. It's just that he cannot play.
He cannot play.
Eligible to play.
The way the rules were, he forewent that particular eligibility. But in a different sport, that's actually pretty cool. I actually like this because this actually gives people an incentive to go back to school. If they approve it, of course. They might be like,
and that's the big thing. But I mean, he have to make a compelling argument, and I don't know if this is just a review board or does this have to deal with lawyers. But if it does have to deal with lawyers, hopefully his lawyer has a very compelling case to argue the point to allow him to do so. But we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows? And that's the thing about it. You think about it, he also would have had multiple opportunities to play golf, obviously not professionally, but
no. Well, I mean, he could technically do amateur professional golf and rise up to professionalism to become a professional. But I mean, most of them usually start in college, unless you're happy.
I would say, right, happy. I would be surprised if they do overturn this, or I won't say overturn if they allow this to go through. But I mean, it would be a lighthearted story. I would like to see how it works. And again, this might give a lot of people who maybe didn't use all of their eligibility, or in his case, none of his eligibility, because he skipped it. So it would be interesting to see if they allow that to actually happen. We shall watch and see.
We shall.
But I know you heard this show on your favorite podcast platform. If you didn't, you can always go to our website at www.debateamongstfriends.com to listen to this episode as well as all of our previous. Be sure to tune in Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we will continue to go over the news, the analysis, and you always know you're going to hear the reads.